The air was sharp with the smell of fallen leaves, the kind of crisp autumn afternoon that usually made Lena smile. She stood outside the elementary school, her arms crossed tight against the chill, her eyes fixed on the doors. Any minute now, Maya would come running out like always, bright-eyed, her tiny backpack bouncing, full of stories about her day. But not today. For the third day in a row, Maya stepped out of the school building slowly, her small fingers gripping the straps of her backpack like she was afraid it might slip away. Her usual spark was gone. No excited chatter, no running into Lena's arms. Just silence. Lena crouched down in front of her, searching her daughter's face. "Baby, what's wrong?" she asked, keeping her voice soft. "Did something happen at school?" Maya didn't answer. She just shook her head, her eyes fixed on the ground. Lena's stomach twisted. She reached out, gently tilting Maya's chin up, looking for scratches or anything that might explain this sudden change. But there was nothing. Just the same sweet face, now shadowed by something Lena couldn't see. She checked Maya's lunchbox. Untouched. Again. The ride home was quiet. Maya stared out the window, her small hands folded in her lap. Lena kept glancing at her in the rearview mirror, her mind racing. Was it a teacher? Another kid? Was she sick? Scared? At home, she tried everything. Maya's favorite snack, cartoons, even silly faces. But nothing worked. The little girl who used to fill the house with laughter now moved through it like a ghost. That night, as Lena tucked Maya into bed, she smoothed her daughter's curls and kissed her forehead. "I love you, sweet girl," she whispered. And then, so quiet Lena almost missed it, Maya spoke for the first time in days. "I don't want to be me." The words hit like a punch to the chest. Lena froze, her breath catching. She leaned closer, her voice barely steady. "What did you say, baby?" But Maya had already curled into herself, her back turned, shutting the world out again. Lena's breath caught in her throat. For a second she couldn't move, couldn't speak. The words, "I don't want to be me," echoed in her ears like a fire alarm. Then instinct took over. She gathered Maya into her arms, pulling the small, stiff body against her chest. She could feel her daughter's heartbeat, fast as a bird's, thumping against her own. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" Lena asked, her voice cracking. She kept her arms tight around Maya, like she could shield her from whatever had hurt her. "Who told you that?" Maya's face crumpled. A tear slipped down her round cheek, then another. "The big kids," she whispered. Her small hands clutched at Lena's shirt. "They said, my skin's ugly." The words landed like a slap. A memory flashed through Lena's mind. Maya just weeks ago, twirling in her favorite sunflower yellow dress, singing at the top of her lungs in front of the mirror. "Look, Mommy, I'm a princess." She had grinned, so sure of her own magic. Now that same child sat curled in her lap, ashamed of her own skin. Lena's arms tightened around her. A storm of emotions raged inside her, rage so hot it burned her throat, helplessness so thick she could choke on it. She pressed her lips to Maya's hair and inhaled the sweet, familiar scent of her shampoo. "It's not true," Lena said fiercely. "Not one bit of it. You are beautiful, Maya. Your skin is beautiful." But Maya just pressed her face into Lena's shoulder, her small body shaking with quiet sobs. Maya had cried herself to sleep. Lena waited until morning, watching the clock tick toward 8 a.m. with her stomach in knots. She'd barely slept, replaying Maya's words in her mind all night. At exactly 8:01, she dialed the school's main office. The receptionist's cheerful, "Good morning, Pinewood Elementary," made Lena's jaw clench. "I need to speak with Principal Donovan immediately," she said, gripping the kitchen counter. "It's about my daughter Maya." After 3 minutes of hold music that set her teeth on edge, the principal's smooth voice came on the line. "Mrs. Lena, what can I do for you this morning?" Lena forced her voice steady. "My 5-year-old came home yesterday believing her skin is ugly because of what older students said to her. This is the 3rd day she's come home silent and traumatized." She could hear papers shuffling on the other end. "I see. Well, we certainly don't condone that sort of behavior. If you'd like to come in for a meeting." "A meeting?" Lena's voice cracked. "This isn't about scheduling a meeting. This is about my child's sense of self being destroyed on your watch." "Now, let's not overreact," Principal Donovan said in that infuriatingly calm administrator tone. "Children say unkind things sometimes. We'll certainly talk to the students involved, but we have to be careful not to." "Not to what?" Lena snapped. "Not to hold them accountable? Not to protect my daughter?" The principal sighed. "Mrs. Lena, I understand you're upset, but we have procedures for these situations. Why don't you come in this afternoon so we can discuss this properly?" Lena hung up without answering. She stared at her reflection in the microwave door, the dark circles under her eyes, the tight set of her mouth. Procedures, meetings, while her baby girl cried herself to sleep. She turned to see Maya standing in the kitchen doorway, already dressed for school in the pink unicorn shirt she used to love. Now she just looked at Lena with those 2 old eyes. "Come here, baby," Lena whispered, opening her arms. Maya came, but her hug felt stiff, like she was just going through the motions, like she'd already learned how to fold into herself. Lena pressed her face into Maya's braids and made a silent promise. This wouldn't be normal. This wouldn't be okay. Not if she had to tear that whole school apart. Lena didn't bother with the office this time. She knew how that would go. Another polite meeting, more empty promises. No, she needed someone who actually saw Maya, someone who cared. She waited until recess, when the halls were empty, and slipped into Ms. Rivera's classroom. The young teacher looked up from her desk, startled, then quickly closed the door behind them. "I was hoping you'd come," Ms. Rivera said, her voice low. "I've been trying to get someone to listen for weeks." Lena's pulse jumped. "What do you mean?" Ms. Rivera hesitated, then pulled out her phone. "I wasn't supposed to do this. Recording students breaks district policy. But after the 3rd time, I reported those boys, and nothing changed. I had to." She hit play. The video was shaky, filmed from behind the jungle gym during recess. Maya sat alone in the grass, hugging her doll, the one with brown skin and curls like hers. Then the older boys swaggered into frame. One yanked the doll from Maya's hands. "You! Why you playing with that?" He sneered, holding it up like something dirty. "Black is ugly." The others laughed, puffing out their lips in exaggerated mockery, their voices pitching high in cruel imitation. "Look at me. I'm Maya. My hair's all nappy." Maya's face crumpled. She reached for her doll, but the boy tossed it to his friend. They kept throwing it over her head while she spun in helpless circles, tears streaming down her cheeks. And then, the worst part. In the background, a group of teachers stood chatting, their backs turned. One laughed at something a colleague said, completely oblivious as Maya's small shoulders shook with silent sobs just yards away. Lena watched it all without blinking, without breathing. When the video ended, Ms. Rivera's hands were shaking. "I've sent reports every time. I've begged the administration to step in. They keep saying they'll monitor the situation." Lena handed the phone back. Her face was eerily calm. Then she smiled. Not a happy smile. Not a relieved one. It was the kind of smile that made Miss Rivera's breath catch, sharp as a knife, cold as winter. "They're done," Lena said softly. And for the first time since this nightmare started, she knew exactly what to do. Lena didn't wait for another useless meeting. She didn't file another complaint that would disappear into a drawer. This time, she fought fire with fire. That night, she created a new email account. No name, no trace. She attached Ms. Rivera's video, along with copies of every ignored report, and sent it to Naomi, a journalist known for exposing racial injustice in schools. The subject line was simple. "This is what kids being kids looks like." She hit send. Then she sat at her kitchen table and waited for the world to catch up. By mid-morning, her phone buzzed with a news alert. A local media outlet had published an explosive story. Elementary school ignored racial targeting until this video surfaced. By lunchtime, the #sign Protect Maya was trending. Parents from across the district shared their own stories of ignored complaints. The school's phone lines were flooded with calls. By afternoon, the district made an announcement. Principal Donovan had been reassigned pending investigation. Lena scrolled through the headlines, her jaw tight. It was a start, but not enough. Then came the backlash. The mean kids' parents didn't apologize. They lawyered up. News outlets reported parents sue school over unauthorized recording of students. One mother, a blonde woman in a designer jacket, the kind who called the cops on black kids for playing too loud, gave an angry interview outside the courthouse. "This is ridiculous," she snapped. "They're destroying children's lives over normal kid behavior." Lena turned off the TV. That night's town hall meeting was chaos. Reporters crowded the school auditorium. Parents shouted over each other. District officials on stage looked like they wanted to disappear. Lena stood in the back, arms crossed, watching. Then the blonde mother spotted her. She marched over, heels clicking, face flushed with anger. "You," she hissed. "You're the one who leaked that video." Lena didn't move. The woman leaned in, voice dripping with venom. "You're ruining their futures over nothing." The noise of the room faded around them. Lena could feel the heat of the woman's rage, the unspoken threat in her eyes. She could have screamed. She could have cried. Instead, she smiled. "My daughter's future," she said, quiet and clear, "starts with not hating herself." She tilted her head. "Where's yours?" The woman's mouth opened. Closed. For the first time, she had nothing to say. The official letter arrived on crisp white paper with the school district's embossed letterhead. Lena read it 3 times before letting it flutter to the kitchen table. The mean kids had been transferred to different schools, required to complete anti-racism counseling. Their parents' lawsuit had been dismissed with prejudice after the judge viewed the unedited footage. Principal Donovan's resignation had been accepted immediately. Lena traced her finger over the final line. The district will implement mandatory bias training for all staff beginning next week. The first day of the new term dawned bright and clear. The school building looked different somehow. Maybe the fresh coat of paint on the doors, maybe just the light. Ms. Rivera, now Principal Rivera at only 28, stood at the entrance in a sharp blazer, her usual nose ring glinting in the sunlight. She high-fived students as they entered, calling many by name. "Good morning, Maya," she called, crouching to eye level. "We've got new books in the library about astronauts and ballerinas and everything in between. Maya hesitated, her small fingers tightening around Lena's. Then Zoe appeared, her braids swinging, and Maya's grip loosened. "Go on," Lena said, brushing a kiss across her forehead. Maya took 2 steps, then spun back. "Love you, Mommy." Her voice rang clear across the schoolyard. Lena watched until her daughter disappeared into the building, her sunflower yellow backpack bobbing behind her. The new sign above the entrance gleamed in the morning light. "Every child belongs here." She stood there for a long moment, breathing in the scent of cut grass and new beginnings. Somewhere in the building, Maya was turning the pages of a new book. Somewhere in their backyard, tiny green shoots would soon push through dark soil toward the sun. They'd weathered the storm. Lena turned toward home, the sunlight warm on her face. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And let us know in the comments where in the world you are watching from. We love hearing from all of you. Thanks for watching.